did originally want to wait until Emily came out with her video in response to go over everything, but with the good point Kidology made in her analysis of the situation, it'd be best to not really engage too much with Shannon's video to truly support Emily. This video in and of itself might seem counterintuitive, for which I do apologize, but I'd like to get this off my chest and move on mentally. I'm going to link several videos in the description below that pick apart Shannon's video and give different interesting perspectives. I will be pulling a few points from those videos, though, as some were thoughts I had while wasting 2.5 hours of my life watching her attempt to debunk Emily's claims and somehow her life story, which obvious to no one that it was a complete dumpster fire. Now, it's quite understated that it's sickening that yet again everyone affected by Shannon, especially Emily, has to do with the lack of accountability and respect given by Shannon. To the people who have to keep their eyes from eternally rolling due to the endless garbage that spews from her mouth, please make sure you have some aspirin or something on hand just in case you do. Those headaches will become unbearable. Of course, to Emily exclusively, you are extremely strong, even though I know having to relive the dark moments and trauma to somehow prove what happened in your life did indeed happen, which I'll get into the asininery later, is horrible. But as I've stated before, many blessings to you and yours, and good luck with compiling your evidence against her. Now on to the rant portion. There are so many issues I have with this video, aside from the fact that she spent 2.5 hours trying to explain Emily's own experiences didn't happen. She spent 2.5 hours trying to explain how Emily's own experiences didn't happen. The audacity of that, first off, trying to debunk any of her trauma or drug use. How can you even assume that you know enough about her life? While the video is enough proof to show how you stalked her, on the argument that since this is in the public it isn't stalking, sure, you could argue that, but who in their right mind would scroll all the way back to when the posts were back when the person was basically a child and use that as leverage against them? You're deluded as fuck to think that, honestly. Going back to the beginning of the video, she says that the reason why we're seeing it in the first place is because either 1, they've reached an out-of-court settlement, or 2, she took Emily to court and somehow won. As of writing the script or recording this video, both are lies, since Emily's videos are still up and the delete everything or I'll take you to court angle you pulled on Emily didn't really faze her, so that's that on that. One more thing to go on, the fact that you again took 2 hours to try to show how much of a terrible person Emily was, emphasis on was, isn't the gotcha moment you thought it was. Since 1, Emily herself stated that she knows she was a terrible person in her youth, and from her actions now, you can tell that she's done a lot of work and still is working to better herself, not just for herself, but for her family and the people around her. 2, people have the ability to change, as that is one of the most consistent things that people, or in a broader sense the nature of life, is change. Whether for better or for worse, preferably the former, that is what we do as people. Rehashing old fuck-ups to someone who isn't the same person as they were before, as some sort of you'll never change or because you did this in the past this still makes you a bad person, is such a shitty thing to do. I want to mention her pinned comment for a second. Any comment asking, why didn't you address blank or what Buttmuncher75 said about you in their video with 45 views? If they didn't accuse me of literal felonies, then I don't really care at the moment. Van? Okay. There's a difference between people thinking I am a dick, I mean you are, and someone saying I committed literal crimes that are so foul, okay, that if I was seen on the street by someone and recognized, I would be assaulted. Get some pepper spray. There's a reason Emily got a legal notice and other people didn't, because one thing is more serious than the other. If you can't understand that, then one day I hope there never comes a time where you can relate to this, because it's terrible. Touch grass. Okay. I find it really funny how you sit here and have the nerve to say that you will only address important things like the allegations of you being a stalker, among other sketchy things, but you take the time to address Tipster out of all the people you told to not defend you, and give him a piece of your mind that I think should have been either lobotomized or just kept under wraps. Her comment is contradictory as fuck. Also, that's the wrong spelling of fowl, by the way. That's a bird. The fowl you are looking for is F-O-U-L. You're welcome. Speaking of unnecessary additions, why did you address your sibling as well? It's weird for you to address them in such a serious video, and also the fact that they don't have a massive platform for them to dispute you isn't fair. I also want to say that it'd be best to have some kind of family therapy or just cut them off if you really cannot get along. This back and forth, which is unbalanced, is just not healthy in every way. Moving on to some of the criticisms made by other creators that echoed my thoughts while watching, Shannon's purpose of this video was to try to absolve herself of anything, but not really in the court of public opinion. Sure, maybe through the eyes of the law, but I don't understand how hard it is to say, Emily, I'm sorry you're dealing with this, and while I do sympathize with your pain, I didn't cause it. You claim that you were also stalked by a woman, although you trying to protect her identity is a little suspicious. Yeah, granted, people on the internet given certain information can do crazy things in the name of justice. Extending some sort of empathy in the situation would have done you more good than anything. But given the legal standpoint and the cold tone you have in this video, I feel like you genuinely don't care, or you really want to push so hard that you're either incapable of doing what you did or doing what was done, sorry, or in the eyes of people who think you actually did do it, you really want to not look like you did any of that, which, again, you failed. Though in the case of how this could be handled legally, I have no knowledge of the law, and frankly, it makes me a little nervous on how that would go. Last few things to mention, there was a point that Hi-Rant, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, made that honestly was something I never considered before. Shannon was originally known for making her story times, right? Then of course she ended up switching solely to commentary and essentially dumping her original audience that fell in love with her story times. Whether she did it for money or not, it's weird how you don't want to vary your content even a little and solely go for clicks and views to make that bag. Fuck viewer satisfaction. Like, yeah, the channel is yours and you can upload whatever you want and, of course, get the bag or whatever, but you're an entertainer, so you still have to cater to the people who made you. Last but not least, I genuinely do not give a shit what you say at this point, trying to disprove how you couldn't have been Emily's tormentor when you say shit like this.
I have a confession to make. I am essentially Neve from Catfish, with how fucking good I am at online stalking. Like, I'm amazing at it, guys. You have no idea.
This will forever be my reasoning as to why I do not trust your word moving forward. This came out of your mouth and I will die on this mountain. But now this is out of my system. I hope y'all enjoyed the rant. I'm moving on to other things now. So until next time, stay high, stay hydrated, stay out of trouble, please. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.